What's up guys, welcome back. With the biggest Nintendo Direct ever riding a high wave of nostalgia behind us, I thought it would be a great idea to dive into some of my most precious retro game collections on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. I am talking of course about the 3 IREM Collections which have been released, especially considering another 2 are on their way. So in this video, let's check out what these collections are all about, what makes them so special, and if you should get excited for the next releases. I am a big fan of IREM ever since the Nintendo Family Computer System, or Famicom for short, for which they have published a great number of games. Out of these, those published on cartridge are all very recognizable because of the custom shell design and execution, as well as those wondrous LEDs for their first 6 releases on the system, something you won't find in any other cartridge, period. So far, out of all of these games, only one has been released on modern day hardware in the first IREM collection. I am talking of course about Image Fight. This is a game which I wholeheartedly love, have played through, painstakingly so, and one which sets the tone for the first collection. Let's check it out. IREM Collection 1 features 3 games: Image Fight, Image Fight 2, and X Multiply. Out of these 3, Image Fight has seen the most widespread releases, all of which make it into this collection, including the Famicom release, the one for the NES, the PC Engine edition, and the version which hit the arcades, both in Japan and in the West. Image Fight 2 has only been released on PC Engine CD. And lastly, X Multiply, which has only been released in the arcades, but which has got to be my favorite in this collection. The emulation of these timeless classics is flawless and runs exactly the way it should, allowing for some genuine nostalgia. The overall presentation though is a bit bare bones and should receive an update, especially considering the improvement as seen in the third IREM collection. And all things considered, it's nice to know that it's fully backwards compatible on Nintendo Switch 2. IREM Collection 2 is an entirely different beast, and one which gets my blood pumping. In this collection we find the forerunner, the quintessential template for what later took the world by storm in the Metal Slug series. I'm talking of course about Gun Force 1 and 2. A nice step up from the first IREM collection is that home console versions have been separated from the arcade editions in the menu. Gun Force is near and dear to me, and I love me some run and gun action. Out of the 2 iterations, I prefer Gun Force 2 with its over-the-top action, and I dare say it does give me some throwbacks of the Turrican games, which you should definitely check out if you're into this genre. If you're interested to hear more about that, be sure to check out my review of the Turrican collection on Nintendo Switch. The last game in this collection is somewhat of an oddball considering the genre, and that is Air Duel, originally released in the arcade and one which I find to be such a good game. Certainly not the hardest vertical shooter out there, but one which is great fun and looks incredible to this day. IREM Collection 3, which has been released just a few short months ago, has been fleshed out the most in terms of options, backgrounds and the like. It features some of the more creative IREM games, and I think is the best introduction to that catalog for its diversity and low-level entry point. The games featured in this collection are Mr. Heli or Battle Chopper in the West, the arcade and PC Engine versions, and Mystic Riders and Dragon Breed, both arcade exclusives. Mr. Heli is definitely a charming excursion in terms of gameplay, aesthetics, and music, and features some interesting level designs, including these pitch black mazes. Mystic Riders, on the other hand, sports one of the most free-form ways of defeating your enemies by throwing your flying broom in the direction of your choice, whilst your character somehow remains afloat even without her broom. I think the visuals look great, and especially bosses look really unique, including their animations, like this curling snake. Dragon Breed, originally released in 1989, is the final gem in this collection, and the one I get the greatest kick out of. While you may look like a giant hitbox riding your Sky Dragon, your body is actually both an offensive powerhouse, allowing for additional firepower, as well as a shield, which allows you to wrap yourself with its body, without being hit. It is a truly ingenious horizontal shooter from the heydays of arcade action, and one which gives the collection a definite leg up over the previous two releases. Now, it is anyone's guess, really, which games out of IREM's extensive catalog will be part of the 4th and 5th IREM collections. But one which I think is a surefire bet is Garde Gaiden, or the Guardian Legend in the West. I am a proud owner of the Famicom cartridge, which features some of the most impressive Japanese cover art illustrated by Naoyuki Kato, a popular Japanese illustrator, and is quite simply one of the best 8-bit shooters out there. In any event, I will be sure to keep you posted on the next releases. And with that, guys, I am signing off. I sincerely hope you have enjoyed today's review, and if you have, be sure to shoot that like button and subscribe if you're new here. And I will see you next time.